Selling the Cave of Pain.
Ugh.
I'm not sure about the title on this one, Henry.
I don't know what the Cave of Pain is.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Magic Pain Glove. Tell me what to do. The glove has spoken.
On this episode of AVWeek, we talk lighting trends, Josh and JVC, and the Cave of Pain. All this and more on this episode of AVWeek. This is AVWeek, episode 510, The Airing of Grievances. Welcome to another episode of AVWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv. And this week, I'm pleased to be joined by two of my good friends. First, we have Mr. Avi Rosenthal. He's a partner at BlueConnect Partners. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Matt. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
We're glad you are here. And we also have the one and only Kat Wheeler. She's an account executive at OneFirefly. How are you?
I'm well. I have thoughts. I'm going to share them with all of you.
And we can't wait. All right. As Kat mentioned, she has thoughts. So we're going to get right into this. Coming to us from CE Pro 2025 lighting trends in 3 words: smaller, better, and way more colorful. The trend that shaped the lighting category at Expo this year was, again, smaller fixtures, better performance, and smarter color, each signaling a shift in how pros approach projects. Go read through this. It is a pretty good wrap up of what's going on in the CEDIA lighting space, particularly with things like Pure Edge and their 1/4-inch wide mudded in trimless LED strip. Revy as well as DMF both have brand new 2-inch downlights, joining the rest of the market that's had 2-inch for years. Subtle hit there. And then there's a bunch of ridiculous color, and I am not talking about color because I hate colored lights, and I don't want to talk about them because, yeah, they have no place. All right, Kat, let me start with you on this. What is the impact of some of the advances in our lighting space on the electrical market as a whole? Like they're talking about $200 downlights or sub $200 downlights, which starts to get into the world of traditional lighting fixtures. Are we actually able to compete yet?
Yes.
Well, that was easy, and now we're done. See, she said yes.
We're done. Let's all go.
On to the next.
No, look, I'm just going to pre-warn everybody. I'm like in my Festivus mood. It's December 1st. I'm ready for it. I have a lot of problems with you people. I'm going to tell you all about them. So here's my thing.
Beautiful.
Guys, every dealer I've ever met has said they want to get in tighter with architects, builders, designers. This is how we do that. Stop making life harder than it has to be. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to... No, I'm done. That's it. Like, it's just not... These are all good things.
And she is absolutely not wrong, right? I mean, if you want to be in with the architects, if you want to be in with the designers, if you want to be with the decorators, the best way to do that is to bring them into the conversation about things like light and color. And light and color, not colored lights, but color it's in the environment. Because that's how we also get into the drape and shade conversation. Drape, shades, lighting, these are elements that are critical to the architects, to the designers, to the decorators. You want to be the go-to person, this is the way you do it.
And speak that language. Right. And not every fixture needs to be $20,000 and sit in the middle of a room. It's kind of like lighting control. Like when you put switches on the wall, not everything needs to be a touchscreen or a huge switch. What are you putting in the pantry? It's a little bit of a lesser version of those things, and doesn't have to be decorative or whatever you may be using. So it's a similar thing. Lighting, every light in every place in the house, it gives you so much more opportunity. I'm done. Okay.
Avi, let me ask you this though. I do love the shift to more architectural lighting fixtures. My concern with this is I can count on one hand the number of integrators I've talked to who actually understand how to use them. And I'm calling out a lot of the big groups and people that think they know how to use lights and fixtures. They don't. Can we actually talk with competent architectural firms, competent designers, not the paint and pillow class, the real deal about how to use and why you would use a 1/4 inch trimless linear? Because not every project, and I'm coming after you, Cedia, not every project that wins lighting control should be a Miami disco club house. I'm tired of this garbage.
Okay, so there's a bunch of things here, Matt. So let's break it down just for a moment. So the first thing, you guys are feisty. I love it when they're feisty. So the first thing is a 1/4 inch mudded in track. That takes talent. That is not just an integrator lick and stick command tape under a cabinet, right? It takes finesse, it takes talent to install something like that, but the results are phenomenal. So you have to partner with the right trade to get it installed. The second thing you have to do is partner with the right decorator. Like you said, not the paint and pillow people, the paint and pillow people. That's not easy to say, right? It's with the people who truly understand the use of light and the methodologies that need to be used in order to enhance a space using light. Your commercial environments already get this. Yeah. Residential doesn't. It's still all about just simple downlights and track lighting. And we've gone way beyond that. The last point that I'm going to make is the lighting control side. Because the lighting control side and understanding how to set up these scenes and these environments is critical. Because now you've convinced somebody to pay for something. You've convinced somebody to install something. You've convinced somebody of the vision of what it's going to look like. Don't fail them at the last minute by doing a crappy scene or forcing you to, give it 5 different commands before the light comes on to the right place. So it's the integrators that get it. I'm going to ask you one more loaded question. How many of the same integrators that are not getting lighting didn't get drapes and shades 5 years ago? And now they all do drapes and shades.
And can I just say something? Matt, you said something smart, and that was how many people.
Don't sound so surprised.
I was. It was a good thing that happened today. No, you said, do we know enough? Can people talk about it? If you can't, learn. You cannot tell me that in our industry, there's not enough resources out there and available to teach you about all of these things. The manufacturers will help you. The reps will help you. We even have a show called Lightapalooza now that is strictly about lighting.
Except the Lightapalooza show is the exact same week as the Builder show this week because somebody doesn't know how to read a calendar. And I'm keeping my comment clean there, so it shouldn't be.
Let me
start anything.
without actively trying to offend a large section of our audience and our industry, which I am going to now go ahead.
I feel like now you
That's
are.
That's why I'm on this show, so that we can insult.
Wait, exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
Well, I commend the steps that we have taken to try and educate better and increase the quality of our education. Again, there are a handful of people in this business that actually understand how this works. And they all went to get an ALA certification, American Lighting Institute. ALI, sorry.
ALI.
Or they come from Stage.
Yeah.
Because where we learn how light works, and honestly, where ALA pulled 90% of their impact of light section of their course, is from Stage lighting.
Yep.
And the people that invest the resources in themselves and their team to learn these things and to get certified and to take those extra steps in that initiative are the people that are going to win.
Oh, yeah.
And they're the people that are going to stand out and separate themselves. And smart people know that you don't ever stop learning and that this is a huge, huge part of our industry and our business now. And it's a hugely profitable part. So
and that's just
get it together.
And Kat, you're absolutely right. It's just the next iteration of integration. Mm-hmm. The fact that the lighting companies have finally caught up with our capabilities means that we need to take advantage of that. Lighting controls have been around since day one, right? It's always been about dimmers and all this equipment to control light. Now we actually have fixtures that we can utilize to actually make a difference in the environment. If you're not taking advantage of that, it's like not taking advantage of, I don't know, service contracts, which they're not taking advantage of.
Look at that. Yeah. And it's, we're about to move on. It is one of those things where not every project requires super extensive lighting designs, but there are projects that do. And again, we need to get away from
Matt, even the easy projects are easy because the lighting has gotten so easy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's no longer about understanding 0 to 10 and DMF and all these crazy things that you had to deal with years ago.
What's 0 to 10?
Lighting is much easier now.
All right, let's change topics for a second and see who else I can frustrate today. This comes to us from Residential Tech Today. Josh.ai and JVC partner to elevate the modern home theater control. Go read through this. Essentially, JVC is now baked into Josh. So as long as their projector is connected to the network, it can see it, you can configure it, you can do all the jazz, and you utilize Josh on your JVC projector the same way you would use it on a Sony TV or Samsung or whatever. Avi, let me start with you on this one. This is a good sign of Josh just continuing to expand that conversation, right? And continuing to bring on fully baked in partners.
Absolutely.
Is there a point to where they've hit the majority?
I don't think it's ever about hitting the majority. I think that in our business, there's always another driver to be made. There's always another enhancement to be created. So I don't think it's just about the fact that they got to JVC. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of an announcement of, hey, we have JVC. Now, I don't know enough about Josh, so I'm not even going to surmise, but I would assume they have other projectors as well. And they have other viewing apparatus as well, televisions and things of that nature. So the JVC announcement is just that. It's an announcement enhancing Josh.ai so that if you're a JVC dealer and you like their projectors, you're now more prone to install Josh than maybe some other control system. I would suspect that you're going to see many announcements like this, the same way you do from other integration partners, or whether it's our friends at C4 or Crestron or at Savant or anybody else. In my opinion, these announcements don't come often enough. It's more the surprise of, hey, I'm in the software. Look at that. There's a driver now for this particular piece of equipment. I didn't even know they did that. Yeah. So at least Josh is taking the proactive stance of, we're going to let you know when we're making more enhancements to our software.
Kat, this is Josh bringing their TV experience to the projection room. Again, I probably should have looked ahead of time to see what other projector manufacturers they're working with, but I didn't. So, sue me. Alex, let me know if you got more. Whatever. I love the fact that they're, again, expanding this, but is there more to this? Am I missing something?
Yeah, 100%. I'm pumped about this. And I'll tell you why. I like to see voice control and automation from our channel become more accessible. And to me, that's what this is. It's a smart way to show that as smart home trends and, home automation trends towards commoditized entry-level gear, a leader in our community is stepping up, merging that premium projector provider with intuitive, native language control that proves that smart doesn't have to be cheap. It's just another way to show people and get exposure to people maybe our channel wouldn't. And that, there are levels to a smart home. There are levels to voice control. It's not just Alexa, right? There are other ways to control your home with your voice, and better ways and more private ways and all of this stuff. So this integration to me gives real value to our channel. Installers get easier deployments, homeowners get a more polished experience, and the whole thing becomes more compelling against DIY stuff and things like that.
I love it. All right, let's hit our last story of the day. This comes to us from Residential Systems. Selling the Cave of Pain.
Ugh.
I'm not sure about the title on this one, Henry.
I don't know what the Cave of Pain is.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. All right. Title aside, again, Henry, love you, buddy. don't be afraid to ask clients, what do you expect from us when things don't work? We've all talked about this conversation before. I'm not sure I've heard it posed in such a manner of, Henry tells the story of going through the installation and the system design, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, with a customer. And at the end, he goes, now, this is going to work great, but 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, next week, when something breaks, what do you expect from us? And he starts that conversation with the client of, well, I expect you here right away, yada, yada, yada. And it gives him an opportunity to talk about what those expectations should be for when something breaks. Kat, let me start with you on this. Title aside, I love the article, and I love posing this that way and addressing that failure elephant that no one ever seems to want to talk about, right? At the get-go of the sales process or even the installation process. Nobody wants to talk about what's going to go wrong. Is this something that integrators should integrate? That's terrible. Into their sales process?
Yes. Look, if people are scared to broach these kind of service-oriented topics, then they're missing out, because it is the easiest time to sell it is at that stage of the project. And it is about level setting expectations for your customers. Chances are, that this isn't their first rodeo with technology, so they probably have some level of expectation. And if you don't address it, then you are, leading them down a poor path. But again, set the customer and yourself up for success. You should build a service plan in with every proposal you send out, regardless of the size, because it is more profitable. It helps you, build recurring revenue, which adds value to your business. But again, it makes for stickier customers because they have a better experience with you. They have better long-term experience. They don't leave you and go somewhere else. We all know what the dealers say. Oh, they came from another integrator. That's how I got them, because they hated them. Everything was broken. None of those things are true. But if you address them in the front end, you're going to have more satisfied, more sticky customers, better long-term business. I don't know. I lost it there, but you know what I mean.
I do. So Avi, I don't want to come at this a different way, but I want to question you based on an actual conversation I've had with a customer of, we're going through the walkthrough after installation. And I broach so in the event of software or firmware or, power outage, whatever, you need to reset the system. Customer looks at me and goes, well, I should never have to reset it. I go, right, but you will. Yeah, I know, but we're paying you a lot of money, so this thing always works. I know. But there will be a problem at some point. And I know, but we're paying you a lot of money so that this doesn't happen. And I've been stuck in that loop multiple times with multiple customers.
Yes.
You can set expectations all you want. And I do feel that we talk about this a lot in the channel. Customers are going to be customers. And they're going to forget you ever had that conversation. They're going to forget that, to Kat's point, you sent them a bunch of options that they declined. They're going to forget all of those things. What do you do when they forgot that and now they want to yell at you because they expect you to fix it right away?
So first of all, they're going to yell at you. If you are in this business and you expect never to be yelled at by a customer, you're in the wrong business. I'm sorry. It's sort of like, I want to be a gate agent for an airline, but I only want to hear from happy clients. I
like travelers.
Right, exactly. This is not the business for you if you never expect to come across a client that is dissatisfied. Because perception is reality, and whatever is in their head is going to be their reality. So your death spiral, as I would call it, of, but I'm paying you all this money, it damn well better work. Yes. We will do our best for things to work. But there's probably a mechanic who works on your car. Well, of course there is. Oh. And there's probably an IT guy at your office who comes and helps you. Well, of course there is. So if you can parallel your experience with your home technology to other technologies where it's understood that you have help, whether that help comes in the form of somebody in your office, or somebody at a garage, then it helps the client to understand that these systems are just as fallible or less so than other technical systems that they deal with every day, rather than thinking that for some reason, just because it's in my home and you've installed it and I paid all this money, that it works perfectly. Because ask a Jaguar owner or a Maserati owner
Why do you
or a
have to bring a Jag
Lamborghini
to me?
owner, right? The
You
more
know.
expensive the car, the more
No, I've
prone
had
it is to breaking down and the more expensive it is to fix. Now, of course, we like to think of ourselves as being much more stable than a high-end sports car. And yes, we are. And that's the nice thing about being in our business. But white glove does not stop at installation. White glove needs to continue. So when you do get that person who calls to yell at you, first of all, take it, because you're in the wrong business if you don't think you're ever going to get yelled at. I get yelled at all the time, and I'm not even an integrator anymore. It's a whole other problem. Okay. But I think it's important, to Kat's point, to set the right level of expectation. I know a lot of integrators have taken to the, I equate it to almost like the medical profession. If you want to leave the hospital before the doctor says you're okay to go, you have to sign all these documents stating that you are taking responsibility for your own health when you leave the hospital. You can do maybe not something as scary, but you can do something very similar where they sign off on the fact that, hey, if it's a Sunday evening and your favorite football game is on and the sound won't work, if you, by checking this box, you're taking responsibility to make sure that that sound comes back on. If you don't check this box, then we will sign you up for a service contract to make sure that you have 24/7, 365 service. So I think that's Henry's point here, is not to scare the person into, oh my God, what did I just buy? But to put the reality in front of them to say, hey, there's an opportunity here. If you do want 24/7, 365 service, you're going to sign up for it the same way you get warranty service with your car, the same way you get warranty service with your other technical things. We're here to do the same thing. And you have to draw those parallels. And I think that's where integrators miss, is we get so afraid of them saying, well, I don't want it if it's not going to work, that they don't ever bring it up. And then when it does break, because it inevitably will, there'll be Sonos software glitch. Who in the heck knows, right? Because we have to mention that at least once every podcast. Yeah. That something will break and something needs to be fixed. And that's just the basis of reality these days.
You said something I love there, which is scared. And I think it is being scared. Like, oh no, I'm going to lose the job. Right. Or, oh no, they're not going to go with me. Or they're going to think I'm trying to push this thing too hard. We just have to stop thinking of it as optional. Right. It's not optional. Right. It is part of this project. You know, for the next 3 years, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do this at this cadence or this cadence or this cadence. And this is part of what you're buying. You are buying this whole thing. Yep. Put it all up front if they don't want to pay, every month or whatever it is. But stop doing things for free. We do too many things for free in this industry to make people happy. You're mad guy who won't get out of your circular conversation. We all do, just to get them to stop yelling at you and not threatening you and whatever that may be. But stop being scared. This is part of the project. Part of the project is ongoing maintenance. It's firmware updates, it's software. It's, fixing something that breaks or adding and changing scenes, over the next couple months when they live there. It is what it is. And yeah, if you're adding it in the front and not doing it as recurring, that's the same difference to me. But do something.
The best parallel I've seen is, I had a conversation with an integrator one time about they didn't want to do service contracts at all. And they could not figure out how to bill for any additional service after the sale. And I said, okay, cool. So you're a Honda.
Yeah.
Right? You get your Honda, everything you need done at your local Honda dealership, they charge you. Or you can be a Mercedes or a Beamer or a Caddy or whatever one it is, where for the first 4 years, all your oil changes are free. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's free. And that is free. Wear and tear is not, but the couple things are covered. Again, it's just a difference of approach. And I do think we've got to figure that out. All right, we are going to leave it there. Thank you both so much for joining us. Kat, if people want to connect with you, learn more about OneFirefly or your books, where can they do that?
Well, they can buy my books on Amazon, and they should, because, I need the cash. And They can find me.
It is
on
the
all
holiday
places.
season after all, and expenses
It's
are
the
high.
holidays. My kids need shoes. Don't you want my kids to have shoes? I don't have kids, but if I did, they would need shoes.
They would need shoes.
They would need them, and now's the time to support, your small starving artists, as I am. No, they can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, and I have my own website. It's catwheeler.com, or hit us up at OneFirefly, onefirefly.com. I'm all over the place.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. Avi, if people want to connect with you, learn more about BlueConnect Partners, where can they do that?
So easiest places on our website, BlueConnectPartners.com. But of course, I'm on LinkedIn and to Facebook and all that. I don't do the gram. I'll be honest. I'm an old man and we don't do the gram. Sorry. My kids laugh at me all the time because they send me links and I look at them and they're like, didn't you see the other 5? And I'm like, no, I don't do the gram thing. So, but yeah, the BlueConnectPartners.com is a great place. And then a little shout out for CES. I hope every integrator takes advantage of CES. I will see you all there. My favorite week of the year coming up in less than a month. I am just so jazzed. It's going to be an amazing show this year.
Excellent. All right. Thank you again for joining us. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me at Matty Scott on most of the socials. But more importantly, please visit AVNation.tv, where you'll find this show as well as a wide variety of other shows with all the verticals that we cover. When you visit the website, please take a moment to check out our supporters. We are extremely thankful for their support and ask that you check them out as well. Thanks again for watching. That's all the time we have for this episode of AVWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.